In 1893, somewhere in rural Midwest America, three men lived alone in the middle of a massive farmland. The town called them the Three Brothers, but they weren't brothers, and they weren't good men. They had all been thieves. What the town didn't know was that something followed them here. The Confession Night. One winter night, the air felt wrong. No wind, no insects. Even the farm dogs refused to bark. The fire cracked louder than usual, like bones snapping. Brett suddenly said, "Do you ever feel like we were never forgiven?" Silence. Aslam looked toward the dark field. For a moment, he swore he saw three shadows standing near the crops, watching. Then they vanished. He cleared his throat. "Let me tell you something I never told anyone." The town called them the Three Brothers, but they weren't brothers, and they weren't good men. They had all been thieves. What the town didn't know was that something followed them here. The Confession Night. One winter night, the air felt wrong. No wind, no insects. Even the farm dogs refused to bark. The fire cracked louder than usual, like bones snapping. Brett suddenly said, "Do you ever feel like we were never forgiven?" Silence. Aslam looked toward the dark field. For a moment, he swore he saw three shadows standing near the crops, watching. Then they vanished. He cleared his throat. "Let me tell you something I never told anyone." Aslam, the widow's locked room. He told them about the rich widow, about breaking into her house, about the chests full of children's clothes. But this time, there was more. When he lit the oil lamp that night, the flame flickered violently, and he heard something, soft breathing, not his own. He ignored it, opened chest after chest. No treasure, just tiny dresses, each labeled with names. Then he noticed something that froze his blood. The names scratched into the fabric were still wet, like they had just been written. Behind him, a whisper. "Why are you touching my children?" He spun around. No one there. The door, which he had left open, was now closed, locked from the inside. When he found the box of needles, they weren't lying still. The snake spoke. "You buried greed. Now you will harvest consequence." He woke up coughing dirt, actual soil in his mouth. The next day when they dug the field, they found a decayed snake skeleton, coiled exactly where he once hid his stolen fortune. The doctor told him it healed him, but Dean knew better. Something had returned what he buried, not out of kindness, but as a reminder. By now the fire was almost dead. Only Brett hadn't spoken. The air felt colder. Too cold. Brett, the Three Graves. Brett's voice trembled. He followed the retired army officer to the cemetery. Three tiny graves, all daughters. He watched the man cry for hours, but here's what he never told anyone. On the third day, while the father was gone, Brett approached the graves alone. The dirt looked fresh, too fresh, even though they were years old. He heard scratching from beneath the soil. They were vibrating, like something underneath them was breathing. The note inside? It wasn't old. The ink was fresh, and at the bottom, words he swears weren't there before. "You can steal money, but you cannot steal judgment." When he finally escaped the house, he looked back. The widow was standing in the upstairs window, but she had died 3 days earlier. The townspeople confirmed it. The fire suddenly popped loudly. Dean looked pale. "Mine was worse," he whispered. Dean, the snake that guarded gold. Dean admitted he had once buried stolen gold and placed a massive black snake to guard it. Years later, when he dug for it, the snake was gone, the treasure gone, like the earth swallowed it. But when the factory owner later buried a snake on his land, something unnatural happened. The crops grew thick, healthier than anywhere else. When Dean ate from that exact spot, he felt warmth spread through his lungs. That night, he dreamed. He was back at the buried treasure, but this time, the snake was alive. Its body coiled around him, its mouth opened. Inside the snake's throat were gold coins, melting, dripping like blood.
Soft knocking, like small fists. He stepped back and heard a child's voice. "Why didn't he want us?" He ran, but the sound followed him for weeks, even when he left town. The retired officer died days later, but Brett swears. At the funeral, he saw 3 small muddy footprints leading away from the graveyard. Not toward it, away. The fire went out. Complete darkness. No moon, no stars. And then they heard it. Footsteps. 3 sets. Slow, dragging across the field. Aslam whispered, "Do you see them?" In the distance, 3 faint silhouettes stood beyond the crops. A woman, a snake-shaped shadow, 3 small figures holding hands, and behind them, something taller, watching, waiting. A voice carried through the cold air. "You stopped stealing, but you never paid." The next morning, the landowner came to check on them. Their beds were empty, the fire pit cold. No footprints leaving the field. Only 3 sets of footprints leading into the crops and stopping, as if something had taken them. Some say the farmland is still there, and on certain winter nights, if you stand in the middle of it, you can hear 3 men confessing to the dark. But the dark never answers back. It only listens.